What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and I just wanted to start this one off by saying that I'm sorry to any of you guys that were expecting me to make a video on the patch notes from yesterday. I initially made a video on that and it ended up being so freaking long. Like, the unedited version was like 55 minutes. I cut that down to 35 minutes and I was like, that is way too long, especially since my channel is mainly a Shadowland gameplay channel and I'm not really that big. So I was like, no one's gonna watch this, like it's just gonna be a waste of my time. So I ended up just scrapping that, but I did see a few comments from you guys asking me about a video for yesterday, so I decided to make sure I go ahead and make one for today, because today is the first day of the long-awaited X-Men update, right? So a lot of people are amped up and I'm already seeing waves in the community, both positives and negatives. So let's jump into it. First of all, guys, I really love this new music. It's about time that Marvel changed the theme music for this game. I really like it, even though it's not necessarily anything special. It's just a nice change to have, right? So apart from that, guys, this new interface is actually really nice. I really love how it looks. It looks really sharp, and I like the pictures that they chose. Like, it makes everything just look so nice and fresh. Even though a lot of these game modes are pretty old, it does give them a nice new feel to it. And the way how they have it structured, it's really, really good. Like, all the co-op gameplay is in one thing, all the freaking PvP stuff is in one thing, all the freaking PvE stuff, so Shadowland, World Boss, Villain Seeds are in one thing, all the mission tabs are in one place, so it's very easy to navigate. I really love it, as opposed to what we originally had, where we had the mission button here, where that would take you to Villain Siege and World Boss and all that stuff, and then you had the arena button that would take you somewhere else. Even though it wasn't necessarily more stuff to do, it just felt like more work because you had to go multiple different places. So I really, really like that everything is just in one area now, and it's just a tab click away, and you can just do whatever it is you need to do, right? I really love this. This is gonna make the game a little bit easier for me and probably for you guys as well. Goddamn, Jean. Goddamn, I'm loving Jean. I'm loving Jean. She looks amazing. Next thing that I really love about this update, guys, is this status board right here, man. Absolutely one of the best things to come to Future Fight in the longest time, guys. Really love it. And the reason why I love it so much, guys, is because I'm a mainly free-to-play guy, if you guys haven't watched my channel long enough to know. And I'm a firm believer in getting the most that I can for free without spending. And if I need to spend, then sure, I'll spend, right? So completing all the daily tasks is a big deal for me. And now having a go-to place where I can make sure that I get all of this done is amazing for me. Because there are some times where even me, a religious Future Fight player, will actually end up missing a few things, and it's not even because I don't have the time, it's just I can't remember what it is I didn't do. Like, I'll literally, sometimes I'll wake up and I'll bang out everything at once, or sometimes I have a really busy day at work and I end up missing something and I don't know what it is I'm missing, and before I get a chance to figure it out, the reset happens, and just like that, I missed out on some rewards, right? So this is going to be really, really helpful for me, and I'm sure it's going to be helpful for you guys as well, because this little tab right here will help keep you accountable and keep you on track, so that you can see and you have no reason why you should not be able to complete these things. Because on top of being able to track your progress in the game now, you can actually just come here and just click what you need to do, and it will take you directly where you need to go, right? You don't even need the enter tab right here anymore, right? It is nice to have, but the status board right here is way, way better. Like, it's so friggin' useful. The only thing missing from here is Extreme AB, guys. If you take a look at the bottom right here where it says Alliance Battle, it says I have it completed, right? However, if I click the arrow, it takes me to Alliance Battle. And as you guys can see, I have not done my Extreme AB for today yet, right? So that's the only thing that's missing from this tab. If they add that, it will be great. I think they didn't add it because it was just the odd man out, and they were keeping to the sequence of having 3 things per row, and that would have just made it look a little bit odd. So hopefully they have a few more things that they can add to make it so that they can add Extreme AB there. However, if they don't, make sure you keep in mind that Extreme AB is not tracked here, right? So this is a really, really good thing. And some of you guys are probably wondering why I'm still stuck on Shadowland floor 15. For me, when Shadowland starts, guys, I just go to floor 15, get all the Bio Selectors, and I kind of just chill, if I'm not trying to figure out any solos, because for me, guys, getting to the end of Shadowland as fast as possible is not really my goal. My goal in this game, and I don't know when this became my goal, is to use as many characters as I possibly can at tier 1 to solo as many floors as I can. Eventually, one day, I'd like to be able to solo every single floor from 1 to 25. If they don't add more in the future, hopefully they do, using only tier 1 characters. That is my lifetime goal of playing this game, okay? If I'm able to do that, that to me is deserving of being a master of Shadowland, okay? So that's what my goal is, and that's why it takes me literally the full week to clear Shadowland, because I don't really care about the King of the Hill. I don't really care for the gold. As you guys can see, I have a lot of gold, right? So I'm a little bit off track, but I really love this tab right here. It's an amazing tab, so make sure you guys keep an eye on it, because it's gonna be very, very beneficial to you to do so, right? Next thing right here that I'm not really a big fan of, I don't hate it, I don't love it, but a lot of you guys are probably going to feel differently about it. It is this one right here, the new set of daily missions, right? As you guys can see, they've now split it into ISOs and norm stones, gold and XP chips, and Makarn shards, or Makar shards, whatever the hell you guys want to call it. And I'm just going to keep calling it Makarn shards, because I'm not sure if that's how it's said. Someone correct me in the comments if that's not how it's said, okay? Makarn shards. They've gone ahead and did this, and it doesn't really affect me because I've played it for so long. However, if you guys are new, you're definitely going to want ISOs and norm stones, because you're going to want to equip all your characters with ISO sets, really good ISO sets like 4 stars and above, and you're going to need the norm stones to master characters and research stuff for either the Doctor Strange quest or even the Wolverine quest, right? Or ranking up your uniform. There's lots of uses for regular norm stones in the game right now, so having to choose between getting Makarn shards and freaking norm stones is going to be a really big bummer for some of you guys who are not in a position where I am, right? Gold and XP chips is not really that big of a deal. I know gold is still a very precious resource, but as you guys can see, I have a lot of gold. I always have a lot of gold, but some of you guys, you don't have a lot of characters built up like I do, so you still probably need the gold or even the XP chip. So the fact that they've split this up deliberately, I feel like this is just a way to get more people to spend more crystals so that they can in turn buy more crystals. And this will end up being a little thing that will separate the free-to-play from the whales of Future Fight, right? So I feel like this was not something that was necessary, and they did this deliberately in order to separate the free-to-play from the paid players a little bit more, right? I feel like they could have just easily just added the Makarn shards into the regular daily missions and just make it so that it drops at a random drop rate, and everyone would have been fine with that, right? However, the whales probably don't care to have ISOs or XP chips, so I'm sure they would be happy to go ahead and do this. But I'm sure the majority of the players are not in a position where they can just go without ISOs and norm stones forever and just farm these shards, right? So for me, I don't really like how it feels. I don't necessarily need any of these things. I don't need the golds or the XP chip. I don't need the norm stones or any of that stuff. So I'm going to be farming for these shards, but some of you guys may not be where I am, so you might actually still need these materials, right? As you guys can see, I have a lot of freaking materials saved up, so I definitely don't need any of those things, right? You guys, maybe not so much. Another really good thing from this update, guys, I think is also a hidden gem that you guys should make sure you use to its fullest potential. It is this thing right here. Not this little button that I just pressed. I'm actually talking about the character ranking thing. Not necessarily because of the character ranking feature, it's because of this feature that they just added right here. So for me, I'm not sure if there's another way to get there, but I generally just click the character ranking, pick a character, go to the page of the person who's rank 1 to look at their character, right? So what I do is I click on their cards to see what their cards are, and now guys, this is actually a really big thing. You can actually see what cards they have equipped, you can see their bonuses, and some of these bonuses are unreal, guys, and it's actually going to show you where your current cards compared to the top players of Future Fight, and show why they can get those crazy scores and you can't. It will also show you that some of the cards that personally I thought was garbage can actually get some really good rolls and actually end up making some really decent sets, right? This feature right here is actually a really good feature that you guys should make sure you make the most of, right? Another really cool feature, guys, is now you don't have to guess what ISO set anyone is running. So if I tell you that I'm running a certain ISO set on a character and you don't believe me, you can search me up in the game, look for yourself and you guys will see right here I'm running whatever. He's running overdrive. Not only just that, now you can see what their uniform bonus is just by clicking on the question mark button, right? You'll see the rank of the uniform, and you click on the question mark button, you will see what bonuses they're getting from that uniform. Really, really good feature, and a lot of people are going to overlook this, so make sure you're not one of those people. Another thing, guys, is this right here, Urus, guys. You can now actually click on the gear slot of the characters, and you can actually see exactly what bonuses that person is getting from their Urus that they have equipped. This is a really, really cool feature that Netmarble added, and you guys should make sure you make the most of it, right? This is going to be a very, very good way to see how you compare to the guys at the top and help you close that gap. So you guys should definitely make sure you make the most of it, okay? Moving on to what you guys probably care the most about, and that is the X-Men, guys. So we're going to be talking about the Epic Quests, Rise of the X-Men. As you guys can see, I have 27% done. And this thing right here, you only get the option of doing story mode first. Once you get further in it, you get tracking. And tracking is just the same as memory missions. There's only a little difference between it. As you guys can see, you have 4 characters that you can farm. And just like the memory missions, you have different levels that you can select. The only difference is you can run them 10 times per day per character. So I can run Rogue 10 times. I can then run Beast 10 times. As you guys can see, there is no limit as there is on the freaking Doctor Strange quest, like right here. I'll show you guys for a second. As you guys can see at the very bottom, it says 0 of 3, so I cannot run these missions anymore. And I only ran one of those characters today, right? As opposed to these ones, you can go ahead and you can run all of them 10 times each. So that's going to give you 10 bios per character per day, and it will give you some Macron shards, right? So this is a really good way and one of the only ways of getting their X genes at the moment for free. It's decent. However, guys, since you're only going to be able to get 10 biometrics per day, and I'm just going to keep calling them biometrics because it's just programmed into my head, guys. You're talking about X genes, right? Since you're only going to be getting 10 bios per day per character, it's going to take you a long-ass time to complete any of these characters. And keep in mind, you need to get 5 of these characters out of the 7 that we just got to tier 2 in order to unlock Jean Grey at level 1. Like, I feel like this is a crazy requirement to get a level 1 character, even if she's a tier 2 base. Like, this is ridiculous, and I'm not gonna say too much about Jean yet because I want to see what some of the whales do, and I want to see just how she stacks up compared to Doctor Strange. Because if she ends up being on the same level as Doctor Strange, or even just a little bit above him, I feel like this is just way too big of a requirement for a character that is just on the same level as Doctor Strange. You know what I mean, guys? Because Doctor Strange only required you to build a few 6-star characters, and that was pretty much it. Like, I don't understand why her requirement is so much higher than his, but maybe I'll see once some of these whales bust out their credit cards and build her up, and we're seeing some insane scores for Blast Day and some crazy kill times for Infinity Thanos and all that stuff. So I'm not going to say too much about her yet, so let's just wait and see how this plays out, because I feel like these requirements are just way too high, even for someone with a really big wallet, okay? As for the story mode, guys, story mode is pretty simple. It's the exact same as doing the Doctor Strange quest. What I'm going to recommend you guys do is whenever you log in, make sure you come here first, guys. You want to make sure you start here first. You don't want to come in and do your daily routine. Like for me, I usually come in, I hit Villain Siege, I hit World Boss, and I do all that stuff. And then I decide what it is I'm going to focus on for that day, right? You don't want to do that. You want to come in and make this your primary focus first and go through the missions, because if you end up doing something that's on this list before you get to it, for example, guys, let's say right here, I needed to do Villain Siege and I already came in, cleared my Villain Siege before I made it to this stage right here. Now I end up being stuck here for the day, where I could have easily waited, cleared my Villain Siege when I got this mission right here, and moved on to a later stage and make it so that I'm a little bit further ahead for the next day, right? Because there are going to be certain things in here that's going to require you to play the same missions 2 times in a row, and you won't be able to do so unless you use crystals. For example, some of these missions, they require you to run special missions, and if you're like me, you're not going to run special mission and then go ahead, refresh it, and then run special missions again, right? So you don't want to get stuck on something that you don't necessarily have to get stuck on just because you're a little bit too ahead of the game and you came in, started playing before you started doing these quests. This only applies if you actually care about getting this quest done in a timely manner, right? So keep that in mind, guys. My advice to you is make sure that when you come in this game, if you care about getting Wolverine as fast as you possibly can without spending a whole bunch of money on crystals and stuff, make sure you come in the game first. Focus on the X-Men missions, and once you hit something that you know you cannot achieve for today, like let's say you hit something where you need to rank up Beast or Rogue or Storm or whatever, and you don't have the materials to rank them up, then you can be like, okay, I can't rank them up today. Let me just go ahead and do everything else that I need to do in the game to prepare for tomorrow when I can possibly rank them up and then move further ahead in these missions, right? So that's a good way to go about it, guys. You don't want to just jump the gun, come in, do your daily stuff, and then backtrack to do these, because then you're going to put yourself even further behind the pack, okay? As for these bonuses right here, the deluxe bonuses, guys, you don't have to worry too much if you don't have the crystals to buy Magneto right away, because whenever you buy Magneto, you're going to end up getting all these rewards anyways, so you don't have to worry about, oh my god, I cleared all these stages before I unlocked the deluxe package, so now I can't get Magneto, right? You don't have to worry, you're still going to be able to get it, right? Speaking of Magneto, guys, this price right here, I think is a little bit outrageous, to be honest. Honestly, guys, I feel like they should have gone about this in one of two ways if they were going to make him cost this much. They should have said, one, we're going to sell Magneto by himself for 4,000 crystals at 6 stars. Or two, they should have said, we're going to sell this pack right here for 6,600 crystals. And the people who don't have the 6,600 crystals or just don't want to wait can go ahead and get the 4,000 crystal pack, and then they'll get Magneto, but they won't get any of the extra bonus items, right? They won't get the extra crystals, they won't get the extra Macron shards, they won't get the extra stuff, but they will still get Magneto, right? However, it does come with an exclusive mission, so I can see why they kind of upped the price. But honestly, there should not be a price on putting new content in the game. You should not have to pay crystal to get new content. That to me is nonsense, right? That's how I feel about it, because I feel like this entire mutant thing is a cash grab. And remember, guys, when I spoke about the mutants coming to this game, I was one of the very first people to say, hey, I'm willing to pay. And I'm not a whale, guys. I'm a free-to-play mostly kind of guy, right? I spend when I need to and never anything more, right? So I was willing to spend, but the fact that they made it so that pretty much every single bio selector in the freaking game is completely useless is just nonsense. Like, none of these selectors will work on any of the mutants in the freaking game. That's actually nonsense, and I feel like they did that deliberately. Actually, I don't feel like, I'm almost 100% sure they did that deliberately to prevent free-to-play players from farming Shadowland bios like I do and using that to build up their roster, because if they do that, they don't have to spend a whole bunch of money on the game, right? And they wanted to make a big buck off this, because this is probably one of the biggest things that will ever happen to this game, the X-Men joining Marvel Future Fight, right? So they wanted to make sure they make as much money off this update, because these are the most popular X-Men members. I'm sure there's a few that they're missing, but for the most part, these ones are the most popular. So they wanted to make sure they make as much money off this update as possible. As you guys can see, I've been hoarding selectors just from playing Shadowland, waiting for this to happen, and then they're like, not happening. So I feel really, really bad for the people who've been falling for the fact that they've been selling all these selectors leading up to this. And a lot of people, I know them personally, have been stocking up on selectors and all this stuff, and then they get slapped with this. Then now they have to spend money to buy the whole new X-Men Advancement Pack, right? So to me, this right here, for $110 just because they want to sell you an X-Gene selector, right? That right there is going to be the separator between the free-to-play players and the paid players in this game, because now you're not going to have a way to farm for mutants in the game. You're just going to have to keep building up the regular characters and saving up your crystals and hope they start putting X-Gene selectors in the store sometime soon, right? Because as you guys can see, as of right now, there is no X-Gene selector besides the first one right here, the advancement pack, and that is $110, right? So who's really starting to spend $110? Not me. I'll tell you that much. Not me. And I don't really have that many characters to work on, so all these selectors right now are just going to be used to work on gears, right? And I know I probably missed a lot of stuff in this, but I didn't want to make it super freaking long, guys. So if I missed anything, let me know what I missed. and I'll try to touch on it in the next one, right? Just remember, this is the first day, and there's a lot of stuff that we need to cover. As for the best characters, I'm going to play around with the ones that I currently have and tell you guys how I feel about them. These are the ones that I currently have right now. And besides the obvious Wolverine that you're going to work on because he's the native tier 2. And guys, I was actually very shocked that Wolverine became a native tier 2 character. I don't know how you guys feel. Let me know how you guys feel. I feel like if any character was going to get a native tier 2 that wasn't Jean, I thought it was going to be Magneto, to be honest with you guys. But I can kind of see why they wouldn't choose Magneto, because the blast category would just be too OP to have Magneto, Jean Grey, and friggin' Doctor Strange, right? And the combat type is down there right now, so I can see why they would want to give them some power and give them a new face in Wolverine, right? However, do you guys think he's going to be the new Moon Knight? Or do you guys think he's going to pass Agent Venom? Let me know what you guys think, because I feel like they're still going to try to sucker people into buying the monthly selector, even though the mutants are not in there. So I feel like it's very unlikely that they're going to make Wolverine already outshine Agent Venom, because there's a lot of people, myself included, that don't have Agent Venom. And I'll show you guys right now. So if Wolverine ends up being better than him, they end up losing on a sale, because I was planning to buy Agent Venom for Extreme AB. So once I see what Wolverine is capable of, they're probably going to lose me as a sale, because as you guys can see, I'm still missing a lot of the premium characters. I don't have Enchantress, I don't have freaking Riri Williams, I don't have Kid Kaiju, and I don't have Agent Venom, right? Apart from that, I have pretty much everyone else, and they're maxed out. So it just comes down to whether or not Wolverine is a top tier world boss killer, because I see that he has a lot of potential to do so. However, I'm probably going to focus really heavily on Rogue, because Rogue might actually be the new face of the speed characters in this game. I actually really love her kid, and I feel like she has the potential to be a Doctor Strange killer. Apart from Wolverine and Rogue, my third choice is probably going to be Cyclops, man, because his leadership looks really, really freaking dope. And he has this really cool skill. I know this one's already really long and I was planning to end it, but I want to show you guys something. Let me see if I can actually go in here and test it out. I actually saw this when I was playing around with Cyclops in the skill preview. And this is actually really freaking awesome, guys. Check this out. Hold on, let me line these idiots up. Alright, check this out, guys. Look at how long this guy fires this beam. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Look at this shit. He's still going, guys. No matter how long the cooldown, I don't know if this is a glitch, but if it's not, this is insane, guys. Look at that. No matter how long the skill cooldown is on this skill, the fact that he can keep this up for so long, by the time the skill is done, you can put it back up. Sure, this won't work in World Boss, but for Shadowland and for PvP stuff, like once he catches you in that beam, like, are you just dead? Unless it does like some ridiculously low amount of damage, like some of Lash's skill, it's gonna be pretty OP to see how this works out. I'm definitely gonna be putting a damage proc on this guy either way, because this skill looks really, really freaking dope. I really like that skill as well. Iframe. That one looks like it's a partial iframe, because he's juggling them. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's a partial iframe. That's actually really cool. So Cyclops is definitely on my list as one of the characters that I'm going to work on. One thing I noticed, if you try to move, it will get interrupted. But if you just leave it stationary, guys, you're getting blasted into oblivion. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, shit. Like, I actually love this. Like, I found it out on accident. So let's hope this is not an actual glitch and Netmarble just made it like that on purpose. But yeah. Definitely going to go ahead and work on Cyclops first. Well, actually, Cyclops when I get him, which is probably going to be next. And we're going to go ahead and work on Rogue. Actually, really, really love Rogue. That skill looks really freaking cool. It does give her damage immunity. And I'm not sure what Netmarble was going on about, because look at the damage immunity chance, guys. 110%. Look at it. 110% chance to be immune to damage. All right, cool. I guess I'm not the only one that failed math. Nah, but really, I never failed math. But still. 110% chance, eh? And that skill right there looks kind of like Hyperion with a little bit more like oomph to it. Really like it, really like it. That skill right there really cool as well. So definitely Rogue. Out of the characters that you don't have a choice, like, because you don't really have a choice on who you work on when it comes to Wolverine, you're going to have to work on him if you want to get Jean Grey, and if you want to, like, you're gonna have to work on Wolverine regardless, right? But out of the remaining characters, guys, I'm definitely gonna work on Rogue first, then Cyclops, and maybe Beast for his leadership. But if anything, I might actually work on Storm just for Shadowland. I don't see her being really good outside of Shadowland, to be honest with you guys, because her leadership is crap, and her tier 1 and tier 2 passive is crap, right? But I really see, like, she reminds me of Crystal, and I don't know why she reminds me of Crystal. I'm sure you guys know why, though. Anyways, it should have actually been the other way around, where Crystal reminds me of her, but you know what I mean. Really like it. The skill animates really, really nicely. That's one of the reasons why. Like, reading the patch notes, if you guys have heard the bad things that I said about Storm yesterday, if you guys actually heard that video, you probably will be like, what the hell is this guy out of his mind? He actually likes Storm now. But yeah, I like how the skill animates. It looks really freaking nice. So I'm definitely going to consider working on her as my third choice. Hopefully they do really good amount of damage. Even if she's a freaking glass cannon, I can live with that. But from what I've seen so far, she looks like she's going to be decent for Shadowland, for sure, for sure. But yeah, guys, I'm going to end this one right here. It's been long enough. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys are feeling. If you guys are feeling salty because of all the cash that you're going to have to spend to get the mutants. And that's all I have to say for this one, guys. Like always, thanks for watching. And I'll see you guys